right, so we're on our 1910 air cart. What we're going to do is show you how section control works. And the idea with section control is using a 1910 air cart with section command. What we can actually do is cut off individual chutes, and when we cut off individual chutes, what we're actually going to do is get section control across the tool. So we're going to start out putting the tool in calibration mode up in the cab. Once we're in calibration mode, we simply put our hydraulics in detent. Once we hit detent, there's a switch up here at the front. Once we hit this switch, what's going to happen is when I toggle it, we're going to notice that the meter starts to turn. Once the meter turns, grain goes down the chute, follows the chute, and goes down through the towers. As seed goes through the towers, what we're going to do with our stopwatch is get an idea how long it takes seed to get from the inside rows to the outside rows. And once we do that, we're also going to see how long it takes seed flow to stop from the inside rows to the outside rows. That's what's going to make our section control the most effective. All right, so now we're on our 1890 tool behind our 1910. So what we're going to see on the 1890 is we're going to check the time from when seed leaves the bottom of the meter till it gets to the bottom of the seed tube here on the 1890. So once grain enters the ground in the center of the 1890, that's going to be our on time for the inner rows. And now we have seed flow. All right, so what we're doing is we check the start time on the inner row, so now we're going to check the stop time. The start time was 4 3/5 seconds. Our off time was 2.5 seconds. And that's on the inner rows. Next, we're going to check the outer rows. So we do the exact same thing, but we go to the outside rows. All right, so to get seed to our outer rows, it took 6 seconds and 3/4. And for seed flow to stop, it took 4 seconds and 0.26. So we're on our 4600 command center. What we do notice, the first thing is on our run page, we see that this machine is equipped with section control and going to get our section control using section command, simply because we see the green bars for both tanks, which means that we have 4 individual sections. So to set up section command and section control, the first thing we're going to do is go to our cart setup. So once we go to cart setup, we'll see our cart, our tool, and our sensor. So the things that we've always seen before are our tank size, our switch, variable rate, toe between or toe behind. The other thing we're seeing here is section command and section EQ. So we can turn section EQ on and section EQ off. So once we turn it on, we see a progress button. So we hit it at the bottom. From this progress button, you're going to see this is our setup for section command. And we're going to see we have outer and inner times. This is going to be our turn on and turn off, turn on and turn off for our outers and our inners. The inner rows will be the rows towards the center of the tool. The outer rows will be the rows towards the edge of the tool. One thing to remember is going down the left side, this will be our front tank, our center tank, and our rear tank. If we're just using a 2-tank situation, we'll use the front and the rear. So using the numbers that we did outside, all right, for our outer rows, it's going to be 6.2 to turn on, and to turn off, it's going to be 8.1. For our inner rows, the turn on time is going to be 4.2, and our turn off time is going to be 3.5. And that's going to be for the front tank. Now, if we want to set that up for the rear tank, our turn on time is going to be 6.1, and our turn off time will be 7.9. Our turn on times for the inner, those will be 4.1, and our turn off times will be 3.7. Like I said, these times will be different for every tool, so they need to make sure that you don't just use these numbers for your particular tool. Make sure you measure those numbers just like we did outside. One thing you also see here is this gives us the ability to turn sections on and off, and we're also able to enable all sections across the row. It is important that you know that you're able to do this. The other thing we're going to do when we go back to our home page is make sure that our sections are still active. This is going to be for section command on a 1910 with an 1890.